building pros. Welcome to today's episode of the Course Building Secrets podcast. I am so happy that you are here. Hey, in this episode, I want to talk about something that I run across a lot. I am in the position where I hire a lot of instructional designers or learning experience designers and a lot of course creators. And here is the thing, is that I want to dispel a popular myth around course creation today. So whether you are an instructional designer or a course creator, doesn't really matter who you kind of like what realm you're coming from. There are two different ways to think about building your online program or any program in and of itself. Is number one, you look at it from the realm or the perspective of education, where you're teaching knowledge, you're teaching information that people are going to use to apply to something in the future. Right? Or you use sort of the professional development model, which is you are teaching somebody how to do something so they can apply it to their work or their career or whatever it is. And it has a very specific outcome and a very specific path to get them that outcome. Okay, so the two totally different realms, and you need to be thinking about which realm you're in. Unfortunately, a lot of times teachers and even students who have gone through traditional education programs are under the impression that the fastest and best way to get people results is to give them a lot of knowledge, give them a lot of information. So they use words like they want them to understand. They want them to acquire knowledge. They want them to get information. Those are the words that if you hear yourself saying them or you're working with somebody who's saying them, what the problem is with that model is that it implies that you're going to learn something to use and apply to something else, right? So it's a sort of a slow track to the building on top of building knowledge on top of each other. So eventually you can apply it in the real world. And there's so many flaws with that model because what it's not doing is teaching you exactly how to do something in the fastest way possible so you can get results. So that's why people who are creating online courses, online programs, certification programs, who are focused on how to help somebody take the right steps to get to an outcome are the ones who are actually successful. And so I want to dig into that a little bit because it's the number one thing that I hear when I'm interviewing people or working with course creators who want to create a course is this tendency to want to just give them information, to give them just facts and figures and historical information and just all the things so they get a well-rounded look at all of the facts and figures that are important around a topic versus how do you help somebody go from where they are today to where they want to be and get a result and what are the steps that they need to take to get there. You can see just even in the description, it's very different, right? One is very sort of circular and we're going to give you all the things and eventually we're going to get to an outcome. Maybe not even until years down the road when you've finished your sort of fact finding, right? It's like a big fact finding mission. When the second way is your job as a course creator, instructional designer, learning experience designer, whoever you are, I don't care, is to help somebody get a result, help them change their performance, change their behavior, learn a skill, think a different way, whatever the outcome is that they're looking for. Your job is to help them get there in the fastest way possible. And so your work isn't to gather expertise, it's not to gather more information, it is to distill everything that you know into actionable steps that are in the right order to help somebody go from point A to point B, right? That's your whole job. And all of the rest of it, all the information, all the knowledge, all the fact finding, all of that is only useful as it relates to how somebody goes step by step through a process. So when you're sitting down to create your course or you're sitting down to create a course for somebody else, the only way to think about it is what is the process that they need to take to get from where they are today to where they want to go to ultimately get to that result, right? Improve a skill, change their behavior, do something differently than they're doing today? That is the question, and the answer is the success path or the framework that you create to help them go from point A to point B. So if you are watching this and you are trying to get into a space where you're moving out of education, you're moving out of creating courses that don't actually help somebody get a result, and you want to help them actually achieve the goal that they're looking for, the first thing that you need to do is map out what are the steps that they need to take to get to that outcome. And that is where you focus your time and energy. That's when you put them in action, have them do what they need to do in that step to keep moving forward. And so hopefully this helps just to dispel a couple of myths, because I tell you, I am in an interviewing sprint right now, and everyone I talk to is confusing this. They think that knowledge equals action, knowledge equals success, and knowledge just gives you tools to apply what you need to improve that skill or do whatever, right? It's not the core. It's not what you focus on. What you focus on are the steps or the framework or the process, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you call it, but what are the things that they need to do to get to to achieve that result? One of the best ways that I help people do this is just to grab Post-it notes. If you grab a thing of Post-it notes and you write down the steps, and like literally, here's the starting point, here's the ending point, and here are the steps that they need to take to get from there to here. Write them out in your Post-it notes, put them up, and then look at what you end up with. And try and get down to a manageable amount of steps. My guess is it's much easier to look at it from that viewpoint and start organizing it than it is just to try and get all of the information that down into the details and organize that into a module. So the next time that you are looking to either interview for a job in instructional design or look at how to put your course together, that is what I recommend that you do. If you have questions about this, let me know, because this is what we specialize here, is to help people actually get all that expertise out of their head in a way that helps their people get results. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. If you are teaching, if you are creating something, if you are a coach or a consultant, the goal is to get your people the results that they want. And you have to then be very clear in how you do that when you get them results, because giving them some knowledge, giving them some information that you can get on the Google is not actually going to give them the fastest path to those results. All right, there you go. Have a great day.